As we've entered the 10th season of League of Legends, I stood and watched as many of my games took a turn for the worse, and I couldn't help but wonder why. Yeah, why is everything in such a poor state across every goddamn rank, from the lowest to the highest? Of course, we could say that we've raised the standards over the years, but somehow people have not changed a bit in such a long time. You'd think that with so much content being uploaded, those who struggled would change their state of affairs with a couple of clicks. I'm a firm believer in having a bad day and being in my team. I've had those. I have fed my ass off countless times, and due to my frustration, raged and waged a lot of nasty and awful insults towards my companions. Toxicity of a community has always had such a great impact in a competitive game like League of Legends, and I've thought over the course of 2 cups of coffee and many days of bad ranked games, and came to the conclusion that the main reason why I'm toxic, and why a lot of people will tend to talk about your mom instead of the mistake itself, is knowledge. As much as the game is now approaching the age of a spurg, the main reason why there's so much bullshit going around is the fact that people have yet to understand the mechanics of a game like League of Legends. During my days in D5, I've met plenty of people who still could not play the game the right way. And yeah, rest in peace, brothers. With the removal of the 5th bracket, we're now homeless, searching, wondering, suffering, missing that bitter sweet taste of D5. We're ghosts, specters of the past in search of a platinum player that we can flame. To all the D5s out there, I miss you, and I hope to see you where you belong, in gold. Okay, I'm gonna be done with bragging. This is what we do with D5 players. You'll never know because we're extinct at this point. But whatever. People are goddamn clueless. From understanding the importance of farming, wording, when to fight, when to react, when to engage, we must all answer one question for ourselves. Why? Yeah, why? Why am I doing this right now? That's a very good question, but probably one of the most important questions that we can ask ourselves. I could ask myself the same thing, but the answer would be too personal, and I'm not ready to expose myself. But with this in mind, I've gathered common mistakes that happen in my games. And I'm not going to teach you how to play League. Come on, I'm not a challenger player. I can't do that. But I'm going to show you how to play the game the right way. So, we will start by talking about farming, and I'm going to apply simple questions and find the answers for them. Why am I farming when I should be destroying my lane opponents? Because farm gives you gold. Yeah, isn't that weird? The value of a kill without a shutdown is 300 gold. The value of a minion wave without a cannon is 105 gold. And yes, I said without the cannon because we all know that you're gonna miss it. Let's be honest. But seriously, 105 gold every 30 seconds is more than you could ask for. But then again, let's be honest again, you're not gonna have perfect CSing, especially if you're bronze, silver. You know how that shit goes. But still, your main source of income should always be farm. Plus, at the end of the day, everyone wants to farm, and farming can mean putting yourself in a situation that might actually get you killed. So at the end of the day, most of the things that kill us are minions. So think about that one. But going into a matchup that does not favor you does not mean you have to get every single minion. Sometimes you gotta let go of some of them just to keep yourself afloat in your lane. So the lesson for farming is to always keep an eye out when it comes to your income. You shouldn't always look to force a fight with your lane opponent. Gold comes to those who wait, or to farm, or those who get the kills. Amen. So if I see you laying low in my games with no farm and feeding your ass off, well, it means I failed and this video has not reached you, but let us move on to bigger things. And by that I mean understanding this extremely complicated and complex game. And in this situation, the question, why am I doing this, comes into play. Let's talk about what objectives you should be looking forward to getting and why do you want to get them? As the game starts, the first objective you're going to look for is obviously going to be farm, but aside from that, there's always looking for bigger things like dragons and rift heralds. Even a scuttler could do good, so recognizing the situation that you are in is usually what makes, a player good. In a game of League, you do not have the time to plan your next move. Most of the time, you're going to react or act according to your instincts. But my point here is that you should always keep an eye out. And always keep in mind that the main objectives have priority, and by having that piece of information, your next move should always be towards one of the goals that I referenced a couple of seconds ago. One of the main reasons why people die in early game is usually people pushing without wording or taking the time to check where the enemy jungler is. If you push the wave, for the love of God, word your lane, and from there you can be a lot more confident about the plays that you have in mind. So whenever you find yourself in a situation where you cannot answer the question, why am I doing this? It means you done fucked. Okay. And with that in mind, we've come to the point where we seriously have to talk about one aspect that people in lower elo, actually across all elos, people across all elos, they make this mistake, and this mistake is wording. Okay. Sometimes people will tell you, what's the point of wording if I know I'm gonna get dove? We lost. FF in 15 minutes. Report the jungler. My team sucks. I'm the best. Okay. Hold on, buddy. It's not their job. So to these people I say, abandon your tower. It's the simplest thing you can do. Just abandon your tower. Just leave. Run. As much as we could never compare a normal solo queue game with a game of professional play, we can always take small things from what the pros are doing. And if you ever watched one of their games, pink words are a must, Wording your lane is what you always need to do. That way you could stay safe and, farm and not start a war with your jungler when you overextended without any vision. And if you find yourself in a late game and the map is black, remember that the support can only place 3 normal words and a pink word. Stop blaming people for something that you can also do. Right? Right. Okay. But I'm going to stop for 1 second and say thank you to those who made it so far into this video. I know that people like screeching sounds, anime girls with, big boobs and thumbnails, and cringy music in most of the League videos, but this one is for those who lost their way, or those who never really found it. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. But now it's time for one more important aspect of League. And that one is trading and the meaning of lane priority. See, that one sounds nice. Lane priority. Say it after me. Say it till you fucking, know what it means. When it comes to having lane priority, it's usually up to the matchup. If your champion can always shove the wave into the enemy tower, it means you have priority. If you're not a scaling champion and you can always smack your lane opponent, it means you have lane priority. If you're pushing randomly and your CS is just the same as your opponent's, and you're throwing your mana on spells that are going to miss, and even if they wouldn't amount to anything, it means that you are not gonna have lane priority. It means you're getting, smacked. But enough with the examples. What you need to know is how to use this mechanic in your games. Having priority of your lane can usually mean a plethora of things. Yeah, look at that word. Oh my god. Warding the enemy jungle, roaming, backing for a quick buy, responding to objectives or fights in the river, allowing your jungler to get ahead because you have his back, and the list goes on and on. Point is, you won't always have lane priority. Remember that. But that doesn't mean you should flame your jungle for losing a matchup that you would lose normally, or just because you suck. Patience is your friend. Use it. One very important aspect in a laning phase is trading, and I'm going to teach you once and for all And walking into a minion wave to hit one spell will usually mean that you lost the trade. Very early into the game, 3 ranged minion attacks count as an auto from a champion. Always keep in mind that the lane priority is also bound to this mechanic, and the best way to trade with someone, if your champion allows it of course, is to have your opponent, tank the minions while you two are trading. Let me clear my throat real quick, okay. Oh god, the cigarette from last. Oof. Don't smoke, kids. But I know it can get, tricky, but as a ranged champion, the best time to trade is when someone is looking forward to getting a last hit on a ranged minion. That way, he gets closer to your ranged creeps, and if he decides to respond to your auto attack or spells, he will also suffer damage from the minions. League is not only mechanics. Brain can also come in handy. Think about that one. But this brings me to one more mechanic, and I've also encountered in my games, and that one is diving. Guys, I know we've all watched the pro players. I know you've watched Björsen doing big plays, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I've seen countless players die on a dive that should have been successful. The secret to a dive is to always have an escape plan and being on good terms with your teammates, which means not flaming them, which means everything that I just said needs to apply as well. But forget about it. Actually, don't forget about it. Usually a dive is a lot harder to pull off in lower elo due to people not knowing what aggro means. Aggro means when the tower is smacking you, which means you auto attacked first, just to get this one out of the way, So yeah, that's what aggro means. But you have 2 champions. Let's just take it like this. You have 2 champions that want to kill one champion in the premise of its tower. The way you want to approach this is to make sure that whoever tanks the tower first, so whoever gets aggro first, walks away from it, but stays at the edge of the aggro range to continue tanking while the carry finishes off the poor victim who's going to ping their support or jungler for assistance. If the dive goes bad though, and someone makes a mistake, do not be afraid to finish off your target by using summoner spells, or to get out by using summoner spells, or use your stun. Please use your stun. Please use ignite, please. Or flash, and anything. Please stop sitting on summoner spells when you should be using them. But overall, let me catch my breath real quick. Oh, mom. Shit. I shouldn't be smoking. Okay, overall, League mostly changed in terms of balancing and matchmaking. That's a big yikes. Very big yikes. And other small things that change the playstyle of some lanes, but a bigger picture in mind, the game stayed kind of the same. Not a lot of things changed. They only brought more champions who are obviously busted. But yeah, the game stayed the same, and unfortunately a lot of people followed the natural course of the game. Despite the lack of communication, no one should have an excuse for not knowing any of the tips that I just talked about. And with that in mind, all these things combined make League of Legends fun and interesting. It's, the Lord of the Rings saying it's not the destination, but how you get there. That matters. So to all of you there, buckle up. Get your pink words, get your iron jackets, and start climbing. And stop feeding in my games, please. I'm losing my mind. Stop feeding in my games. I'm seriously considering medication for the crippling depression that this season has left me with. Oh, and the video if you found this useful. And if not, you can always just flame me in the comments. And also, to finish this off, you also get the, one time, there's a one time, it never happens twice. Actually, it happens every single day, but forget about it. So you also get to flame me live on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/deckerdog, 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 twitch.tv/deckerdog.